Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. The music. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. This is your host, Dawg Knight, and I got my coffee, my reparations coffee, of course, and we're going to get started right away because I have a flight to catch, and I haven't even packed yet, but we got everything ready to go. We're going to go through some headlines, do some Twitter trends, do the regular stuff. Just a reminder, programming note, because I'm going on vacation, the show is going to be a little bit sporadic over the next 2 weeks as we drive down the California coast. So what we're going to do, we're not going to have official shows. I'm going to try to do shows on the road, but they're going to be the vacation version. Some of them will be some of them will be live. Sometimes it'll be something we taped, but we'll still do some shows. But we'll come back to the actual show 2 weeks from tomorrow. Number 98 will be on whatever 2 weeks from tomorrow is, and we'll resume then. But again, just watch your notifications, or you can see this little Twitter handle right down here. If you're on Twitter, use that Dawg Knight Twitter handle to get updates. I'll do some updates there, and you know how it works. So hey, let's start with who's here already. Good morning, Trucking Bear, who got the first bell. And good morning, Max Del Rio, Smarty Bear, Duck Dog, Chicago Mike, Marsupial Gamer, and my favorite moderator, Sarah. Well, she's really one of my only moderators, but you're still one of my favorites, and you're definitely Lady Boomer's favorite. So let's just get into it because, as you know, our friend at CNN, the grandstander in chief, Jim Acosta, has a new book out called Enemy of the People, because he used a clever, take on what the president says about him. Oh, wait, hold on. I almost forgot, and I'm not going to forget it today. I'm going to make sure that we have something soothing going on in the background, namely known as the funk. There we go. Got a little mood music to go, and let's go. Let's do it. All right, so I've got so much to do. My brain is not working. I'm sure my wife's going to be over here giving me the side eye pretty soon, but that's okay. We got to pack and we got to go. But no, we've got plenty of time, actually. So anyway, let's talk about the Mr. Jim Acosta, everyone's favorite White House correspondent, has this new book called The Enemy of the People out. And apparently, it's what you'd expect. There's an adversary relationship between Acosta and the president. There has been from the beginning. And I think part of it is, so many people out there, so many pundits, before the president even got elected, were extremely critical of him. And I'm sure that, presidents who come in with people just chirping at him from the start probably aren't going to be real pleased with you. So they have this adversary relationship. Plus, Jim Acosta likes to be the whole thing about Jim Acosta and what kind of he's an antagonizer or whatever. In a way he's doing his job, but in a way he's just being a jackass most of the time. And so the president has that relationship with him. Well, Acosta now is getting support from none other than another person who this person was pretty good at asking tough questions, but he also tended to want to take over the press conferences, and that would be none other than Mr. Sam Donaldson. But I personally, I have a lot of respect for Donaldson. I don't agree with Donaldson and everything, but Donaldson says what Jim Acosta is doing is exactly right. Oh man, I think there's some people in the press corps who would disagree with Sam Donaldson. But so here's what Sam Donaldson said. Reading Jim Acosta's new book, Enemy of the People, is like watching a train wreck in progress, with passengers bracing for the inevitable crash. Friends and critics agree we have never seen a president like Donald J. Trump. You're right, you haven't. He's a completely different animal. And some people actually like that. But let me finish the article. Whose disdain and even contempt and apparent hatred for many members of the press is almost daily on display. Well, as you well know, most presidents don't like journalists who do nothing but bitch about presidents. And you can see that in presidents past. If you ever saw President Obama, kind of try to swipe away the Fox News journalists. If you ever saw President Clinton, there were journalists he didn't like and who he would get snippy with if they asked him questions he didn't like. If you saw it in Reagan, you saw it in, every president. And the only one who tended to be gracious, pretty much to a fault, was perhaps George W. Bush. And although occasionally he got snippy reporters too. But think about it. Everyone from the very beginning, the entire press throughout the campaign made it clear that this was no longer something that they were going to be nonpartisan about. They made it clear that they were rooting for Hillary Clinton. They made it clear when President Trump won their incredible disappointment. You saw it in their faces as they're reporting their election results. They're all just dying on stage, and from the beginning they had an absolute adversary relationship with the president. So what do you expect? Anyway, Acosta cites instance after instance when this president and many of his staff showed that they are bent on interfering with the ability of reporters to bring the public an accurate account of the administration's stewardship. Really? How exactly did they... how did they exactly interfere with the ability of reporters to bring the public an accurate count of the... Did they put them in jail? Did they send FBI investigators after them? Did they wiretap reporters? Did they come and take their computers? That happened in the last administration. Hasn't happened. Have you seen any reporter? Now, granted, he absolutely is hard as far as how he talks about them, but has he actually prevented any reporter from writing what they do? I don't think so. Oh, Dax, how you doing? Good morning, Duck Dog. Good morning, Check Your Logic. Some people rolling in as we move on. Acosta. Okay, so so here it is. This is Donaldson again. Donaldson's writing. This is an op-ed by Sam Donaldson. For most of his adult life, President Trump courted the press, lived for its attention, even for a time pretended he was someone else when calling reporters to sing Trump's praises. Whether now he truly believes that the mainstream press, as he says, reports fake news, there are receipts for that, by the way. Reports fake news and is the enemy of the people. Now that's hyperbole, obviously, by the president, or that such language is simply a part of a tactic meant to stroke the anger of his base, while escaping the objective accounting of his actions doesn't matter. The effect is to undermine the credibility of the media, leaving him free to pursue policies that harm us at home and abroad. Wow. So let me see. Policies. So he's pursuing policies that harm us at home and abroad. Curious about your examples there, Sammy boy. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Mr. Dax is here too. I've got Dax and Mr. Dax. Nice to see both of you here. And alright, he says hi to Marsupial Gamer. Yeah, that's an incredible statement to make. So let's see. The effect is to undermine. Who undermines the credibility of the media more than the media right now. You know what? When they are blatantly partisan. I'm gonna take this Mexico deal for an example. How much have you heard of the mainstream press about the Mexico deal, other than people talking about the one New York Times article claiming the Mexico deal was, the Mexican deal was already in the works? Really? Now, they've been talking about, different things that are related in the Mexico deal, but when did Mexico actually come to the table? When did Mexico actually come to the table? When President Trump threatened them with the tariffs. Okay, and Mexico came running within a couple days and came to Washington and said, no, let's fix this. And now what's happening? And I'll talk to you about that, because I got another article regarding what's happening with that. So, it's just amazing. Wait a minute, what do we just let it happen for? Aren't Dax and Mr. Dax the same person? No, they are not. But just let it happen. Wait, check your logic. Okay, all right, anyway. So, Trump's whole attack on the mainstream press is wrong, and it is dangerous. History shows that tyrants and would-be tyrants always attempt to destroy a free press. What is he doing to destroy a free press that our free press isn't doing to themselves? He continues, and that is why the First Amendment to our Constitution specifically forbids government from interfering with the work of the press. Again, other than criticizing them, which every president in the history of the United States has done. In fact, if you go back, especially you look in the first, during the Founding Fathers' time and early years, the press was brutal, and the press was. There was press out there that was completely dishonest, and yet we enshrined that in our First Amendment that they could continue. But exactly what is it that Trump is doing to destroy the free press? Can anyone got an answer for that one other than criticizing them? Again, this president hasn't done anything that our last president has done that actually went in and interfered with the press using the power of government to do that. I haven't seen any proposals by the president other than telling them that they put out fake news, which often they do. Often they don't. Often they do their job and they tell you news stories. But right now, especially this particular White House correspondent, do you really think he's there to get truth, or is he just there to increase his name recognition and argue with the president that he disagrees with? Do you think he's actually credible as a journalist? Anyway, Sam Donaldson continues, I spent 52 years as a reporter in Washington, 16 of them as the White House correspondent for ABC News, covering Presidents Carter, Reagan, and President Clinton's second term. Now, none of us likes personal criticism, particularly a president. Oh, by the way, and Sam Donaldson had some famous sparring matches with President Reagan. Reagan slapped down the press all the time during the Sam Donaldson era. Sorry about the aside. Now, none of us likes personal criticism, particularly a president trying to do arguably the toughest job in the world, while the nattering nabobs of negativism, as President Spiro Agnew once put it, are picking at his failures as well as reporting on his triumphs. This press doesn't report on President Trump's triumphs. They give him no credit for anything. Okay? Zero. Other than the right-wing press, which they see no wrong in President Trump. I think that's incredibly wrong too. Although occasionally there are, take Tucker Carlson for example. He will quickly tell you what he disagrees with Trump on. Or even the guys who are new to the game. Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro doesn't, Ben Shapiro tells you what he thinks, and he doesn't always agree with the president. But Donaldson. But the president's eye covered in one way or another, starting in the Kennedy administration, and with the exception of Richard Nixon, fundamentally understood and accepted the important role of the press. They bridled privacy on occasion, They bridled privately and occasionally publicly. President Kennedy once canceled the Republican-leaning New York Herald Tribune White House subscription, and President Johnson hit back at the press reporting on the Vietnam War, but they understood that no one had dragged them kicking and screaming to their illustrious and important post. They realized Harry Truman got it right when he said, "If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen." Well, that works both ways, Sam. If you're so butthurt about the president talking about the enemy of the people, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, Sam, or Jim, or any of the other, April Ryan. You can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Maybe you can't stand the heat. You can't stand the scrutiny. You can't stand it when people actually realize that some of your stories are blatantly false. Michael Cohen, Covington Catholic, Jussie Smollett, WMDs. Oh, right. I occasionally heard from the White House staff, never the president, that my reporting was unfair, that some of my questions were too sharp, and in the press briefings, along with UPI's redoubtable Helen Thomas, would get into fierce arguments with the press secretary, but it was never personal on each side. Why? You've made everything about, bullshit. That's bullshit. Let's talk about how nothing personal right now? Who makes it personal? Who, again, some of these people in the press were calling for Trump's impeachment before he even took the oath of office. Some of them were, anyway. Once returning from a Carter trip to Japan, Press Secretary Jody Powell threw a full glass of red wine at me. Powell said some days later he lived in a dread that I might go public with a complaint of anti-press mistreatment. I told him I was a bit upset. That was good red wine and I wanted to drink it. Now imagine if Sarah Sanders threw a glass of red wine at somebody today. Woo! Would you hear the end of it? Sam Donaldson, this is just now telling the story? Fascinating. Back then, press secretaries tried to put the best face on it when things went badly for their boss. But they didn't lie to you as Mr. Trump's... wait a minute. Hold on. Let me look something up real quick. What's that dude's name? Let's see. I'm going to just look it up real quick. Let's see. Does anyone remember a dude named Jay Carney? Oh, Sam, you are, you lying bitch. All right, back, okay. Oh, they didn't lie to you. Jay, oh my God. Wow. Oh, okay, Sarah, that's cool. You can lurk all you want. Hey, how you doing, Jaeger Pony, Angel Tibbs, Richo? Welcome to the show. But they didn't lie to you, as Mr. Trump's press secretaries have done regularly, and they didn't call you names to your face. Both sides recognize the responsibilities of each other's jobs, and we got along. Sam, you had some famous arguments with presidents. Don't tell me that. Compared to what I see today, my time covering presidents and their press secretaries was a cakewalk. When I was asked President Carter to respond to the critics who were saying he was failing as a president, when I asked President Reagan how he could defend the hypocrisy of selling arms to Iran at the same time as asking our allies to respect an arms embargo on that country, when I asked President Clinton if it was true that a woman publicly raised the charge of rape, each of them responded with an answer, not with an attack on me. I think Sam is relying on the fact that a vast majority of the people in the country aren't old enough to remember some of those battles. When Jim Acosta tried to ask President Trump perfectly reasonable and appropriate questions at a televised news conference last November, he was called a rude, terrible person by President Trump, who said CNN should be ashamed for employing him. Now, I wish I had brought this up as a video, because I remember this incident very, very well. You know, generally in the press corps, each person is allowed one question and maybe one follow-up question, okay? And they are to ask their question when they are called upon. Now, Jim Acosta, for what it's worth, whether you like it or not, Jim Acosta seems to feel that he can ask his questions anytime he wants during a press conference, and he feels like he can continue to ask questions ad nauseum after it's not his term, after they call on somebody else. Okay, so because when he doesn't like an answer, he wants to ask more questions. But there's, you know what? There's always been a protocol. And so when that happened, that was one of those times where Acosta insisted after Trump answered almost, I think, 3 or 4 questions that Acosta kept following up with and interrupting the president's answer on. Finally, the president said, you know what, I'm moving on to this guy, and Acosta kept going. And so that's when he called him a rude, terrible person. Now, do I feel that's language becoming of the president of the United States than any normal president? No, but Trump is Trump. He's a New Yorker, okay? New Yorkers, almost to a T, don't take shit from anybody. So, you know what, we elected, and honestly, one of the reasons I at first didn't support Trump, or didn't, when I was voting, I didn't vote for either of them. But because I just saw Trump as a business Democrat running as a Republican. But you know what? What's funny is the business part seems to have worked out, and he seems to lean towards Republican principles. I don't agree with everything he does, but I think he's doing a pretty good job as far as policy and execution. Now, style, I still don't like his style, but hey, like I said, people think he's a jackass. The press think he's a jackass. His employees think he's a jackass. Trump thinks he's a jackass. He knows he's a jackass. He doesn't care. He's a New Yorker, and he's going to tell you what he thinks. And being a jackass works for him. Good for him. All right? Anyway, when Acosta's pass was taken away by Trump's White House after the November news conference, a federal judge ordered its restoration, which I don't know why. It didn't take away CNN's press pass. Okay? He broke the rules of the press corps. Now, granted, the press corps sets their own rules, but the White House press corps should have taken away his press pass. When he doesn't like a judge's decision, President Trump is fond of saying that it was done by an Obama judge, but he can't say that. In this case, the judge was nominated by him. So, okay, whatever. That's the judge's. When Acosta and CNN were attacked by President Trump in November, wow. Pot, kettle. What does CNN do? If you ever turned on CNN for a while, it's amazing. It's a nonstop Trump and nonstop Trump bash. and again, no credit for the accomplishments. I don't mind that they talk about his failures or things that they don't agree with, but there's never anything about things that actually worked. Remember when they did the prison reform? Did you even hear about that? And there was some of these prisoners that were getting out as a result of the prison reform that he had this task force. It included people like Van Jones. Van Jones doesn't like the president, but Van Jones was on this task force, and they had this big event where several of the people who were being able to be released because of this new prison reform thing that they're doing happened. Do you recall seeing that in the media at all? I had a video of that press conference, but did any of you remember that? Have you ever heard anyone talking about that on any of the mainstream channels? Definitely not on NBC. Definitely not on CNN. I think there were some blurbs on Fox. I don't know. I think that's where I got the video from. But the White House did put out a video of the entire event, and it was pretty amazing that nobody was talking about it. Something that people have been asking for since the Clinton years. Okay, since the Clinton, went to, the whole that whole thing. You ever hear about that? Ever hear about Trump getting credit for that? I don't hear about it at all. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, so he finishes up here. It reminds me of the time when the Nixon White House attacked Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein for their early Watergate reporting. The Washington Post's great executive editor, Ben Bradlee, said rather laconically, "We stand by the boys. We stand by the boys." Jim Acosta and the other hardworking men and women who cover the White House will continue their efforts to do their job. And the news organizations who send them there will continue to back them up. I salute them and am proud to stand with them. Well, good for you, Sam Donaldson. I just got to tell you, though, Jim Acosta is not liked by the rest of the White House press corps. They see him as a grandstander, and everything I've heard of the behind-the-scenes stuff, they wish he'd just shut the F up. So, anyway, so that's the top story that I'm following today. Moving on, let's now. I was gonna. So let's talk about this. This whole Mexico thing, because of course the New York Times says this whole thing was in the works, but not so fast. By the way, good morning, Ginger Snap. I see you jumped in. Good morning, Maniac Man, for dropping in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Also, before I go on, I got to remind you that the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Down here, I think it's this hand over here. There's that share button. That's my most important feature on the stream. If you can share this out via Twitter or other venues. In fact, did I put the thing in the stream? I did not. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to put the link in the stream, in the chat. There you go. That's not it. What the hell did I do there? Hang on. Let's delete that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Whatever that is. Here we go. Oh, dude, what happened here? All right, let's go back. Let me take care of my boomer moment. There we go. And we'll copy and paste. There you go. There it is if you want to put it on Twitter. Otherwise, hit that share link with the arrow pointing up that way. And you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Tumblr, LinkedIn, wherever they give you links for. Also, make sure you hit the like button. Just that interaction is great. Sharing is better. Interaction helps too. And if you want to do super chats, we do that through Streamlabs in the link down below. And super chats and donations if you'd like to do that. I appreciate the people who do that. That gives me great incentive to keep going. Although I love doing it, and I'm going to keep going anyway. So, all right, let's get into this Mexico thing, though. Now, just in the news, Mexico is set to deploy National Guard to Guatemalan border to head off migrant caravans. Yes, we've had a little problem with that, and Mexico hasn't been real cooperative. But funny how suddenly Mexico is actually going to cooperate and try to stop these caravans from coming through Mexico. Because if all these refugees, quote unquote, and all of these asylum seekers who by international law should be seeking asylum in the first country that it's available, that would be Mexico. But now Mexico is going to stop them from coming in through the southern border of Mexico. Real quick, it looks like I got a super chat here. Thank you, Jaeger Poner. Wow, with the big $25 super chat via Streamlabs. I'm gay for you financially. Take my money. Hey, you got me thinking about it. Now, I appreciate you. Jaeger Pony is one of my greatest supporters. And you know what? That helps because I'm about to go on vacation. Every penny helps. Yeah, we didn't. Well, this is a kind of a lower budget vacation, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I don't think I've ever taken a full 2 weeks off before in my life. So we'll see how that works. But thank you so much, Jaeger Pony. I appreciate it. All right, so Mexico set to deploy National Guard to Guatemalan border to head off migrant caravans. The Mexican government says it's deploying 6,000 Mexican National Guard troops to that country's southern border in an effort to assist the United States in curbing the flow of migrants from Central America through Mexico to the United States southern border. Now, I'm the one part of this that makes me nervous. So, I don't know that these migrant caravans are necessarily organic. How would they end up? How do they randomly just suddenly put, 1,000 people together all at once to go north? I feel like there's somebody in some of those countries finding a way to organize them. Of course, the cartels make tons of money off them. Some of them spend as much as $10,000 to make this trip into the United States. But anyway, the move comes just days after the Mexican government and the Trump administration reached an agreement on the subject of immigration that involved Mexico committing more fully to interdiction and protection of its small border with Guatemala, according to Reuters and DW.com. President Donald Trump tweeted about the agreement late last week, quote, "I am pleased to inform you that the United States of America has reached a signed agreement with Mexico. The tariffs scheduled to be implemented by the U.S. on Monday against Mexico are hereby indefinitely suspended," the president said on social media. Mexico, in turn, he continued, has agreed to take strong measures to stem the tide of migration through Mexico and our southern border. This is being done to greatly reduce or eliminate illegal immigration coming from Mexico and into the United States. Details of the agreement will be released shortly by the State Department. Thank you. Trump noted the most difficult part of the negotiations with Mexican government was over Mexico's border control. The United States asked Mexico to implement a plan to shut off or heavily police the country's southern border with Guatemala to head off 1,000-person migrant caravans which amass in Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador before they cross into Mexico and become difficult for Mexican authorities to handle. And that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Who is organizing these migrant caravans which amass, that come together in these countries? There's no way that these are organic. It drives me crazy. I'm Maddie. I try to avoid that name like Voldemort, but you can read what Maddie said. Source. Yeah, I didn't say it, so the lip readers at YouTube can understand what I said. But look what Maddie said. I'm sure he's got to be a little bit a part of it, although he's too busy trying to elect attorney generals in different states of the country. Since February, however, Mexico has stepped up its immigration interdiction program, and authorities there say they've been more aggressive in assessing members of the so-called migrant caravans, identifying problem migrants and deporting them back to Central America. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. And the other thing too, now, along with this policy, Mexico has agreed to take some of the people that are already at the border back into their country to wait for their so-called asylum hearings, because what's happening is, I think, what is it? I mean, it's some ridiculously low number, like only like 1% of the people, or maybe between 1 and 10% of the people who apply for asylum and then they let them come into here and stay here, less than 10% show up for their asylum hearing. So basically, we've been letting them come here, we let them apply for asylum, we let them stay here, and then they don't show up. So now the Mexican government has agreed to take some of those people back. So that's a good thing too. They've got to do something. They've got to figure it out. Real quick, I got another super chat from Marsupial Gamer. Thank you so much. A $5 super chat from Marsupial Gamer saying, "Have a great vacation, P-Dog. You're my new favorite morning show. See you on the other side. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I know I used to run into you all the time over on the Hard Bastard stream. I'm a good fan of Hard Bastard and the Hard News Network. So and he was my guest here 2 weeks ago. If you didn't see that, go back and look at the Friday stream. Let's see, last two Fridays ago with the Hard Bastard, and subscribe to his channel too. He's a great YouTuber. Anyway, all right, moving on. Read the PS. Oh, there's a PS. Oh, PS. Fake news is fake. Hard Bastard is Mega Jehovah. Thank you. I did miss the PS. I'm glad you told me to do that because I actually was missing that. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That link is down in the description below if you want to do that. All right, moving on. Let's see. Oh, now there's a big mess in Boston. Is it Boston? Somewhere in Massachusetts. Yeah, Boston. So their mass transit system is having a little bit of turmoil. And I just found this fascinating this morning. Ride-hailing prices skyrocket to over $100 mid-red line turmoil. Apparently, let's see, commuters trying to get to their destination in the midst of a red line derailment. One of their light rail units, they've had 2 derailments in the last, I think, week. Massive crowds on shuttle buses and drenching rain Tuesday morning were hit with huge surges in prices if they tried to hail an Uber or a Lyft. Lyft prices go from JFK UMass MBTA station to downtown Boston, a roughly 3-mile trip, spiked as much as $123 around 8:15 a.m. The price for a shared ride, during which the driver will pick up and drop off other passengers in exchange for a discount, was $91. While a larger car known as Lyft XL, typically the most expensive, costs a staggering $201 for a 3-mile trip. Holy moly. Redline passengers sharing a car thought Lyft may be a good alternative to waiting in the rain for shuttle buses, but when she checked the ride-sharing service, she learned that the surge of pricing on Lyft had pushed the price of a 2-mile trip to JFK to $58 per person. Another customer trying to hail Uber from Ashmount to Lechmere Station was quoted at $77 for a solo ride and $65 for a share ride. Message above the fare said, "It's busy, fares are a lot higher than usual." So it's unfortunate that they had this little mass transit thing, but man, the ride-hailing companies know how to make a buck in a crisis. A lot of people hate that, man. So there you go. Let's see, what else? Oh, you know what? It's weird. Not weird, but there's another one of these challenges to the "In God We Trust" motto, which has been in the Supreme Court more than once. The Supreme Court declines a challenge to the "In God We Trust" motto. The Supreme Court declined to take up a legal challenge to the inscription of "In God We Trust" on coins and currency. The court rejected the challenge from activist Michael Newdow, who's if you're not familiar with Michael Newdow is a gentleman who makes case after case after case to courts on church versus state issues. For example, Michael Newdow was involved in the case in San Diego. There's a cemetery up on the hill and there's a giant cross up there. And Michael Newdow tried to, he filed a lawsuit to get that cross removed. I don't think that was successful either, but he's known for doing these types of cases. The court rejected the challenge from activist Michael Newdow, who claimed the inclusion of the phrase "on American currency" violated the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, the Washington Examiner reports. The Establishment Clause declares that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Which, you know what? Is that making a law of establishment of religion by putting that on money? I don't think so. I don't know. The 1955 law passed by Congress requires all currency to include the phrase. I didn't know that was, I didn't know. I didn't know how long it had been on there. Although it first appeared on coins in 1864. Newdow claimed that by mandating the inscription of facially religious text on every coin and currency bill, the government thereby deemed atheists political outsiders. The lawsuit also argued that the phrase violated the Fifth Amendment's Due Process Clause and the 1993 Religious Freedom Restoration Act because it forces petitioners who are atheists to bear and proselytize that monotheistic message. The court declined. This case has been in the court several times, and they're just not going to follow it. So, if I have a phobia of fast-moving trains, if that makes sense, that I could never afford to buy and maintain a car. Yeah, there. Okay, okay. Something's going on in the chat here. I don't know. Hey, hello, Thoughts from the Dryer. Welcome to the show. That's a new name for me, so I'm glad you're here. Joe News trying to keep YouTube's US guidelines. It's hilarious. Okay, so I have to figure out what you're talking about there, but here we go. All right, moving on. Oh, yeah. Did you hear what's happening in California? Undocumented immigrants to get health care in Gavin Newsom's California budget deal. This is the Sacramento Bee. California Governor Gavin Newsom's first budget won't look exactly like he wanted, but a deal lawmakers released late Sunday largely fulfills his objectives he set 6 months ago when he first outlined the spending plan. Lawmakers want to use an extraordinary state budget surplus to expand healthcare options for undocumented people while stockpiling billions of dollars of reserves in anticipation of an economic downturn, according to documents the legislature's Budget Conference Committee released. So, they're going to offer... let me just put this in a nutshell. They're giving free health care to all illegal immigrants under the age of 24. I wonder... Oh, wait, what is this? Oh, no, under 26. The agreement includes funding to let undocumented young adults under age 26 enroll in Medi-Cal, the state's health insurance program for low-income Californians, but it doesn't extend that eligibility to undocumented seniors as the state senators proposed. The expansion will take effect January 1st, 2020, and cost $98 million in the upcoming fiscal year. Oh, sure, it's only going to cost $98 million. I wonder how many undocumented. Yes, the language of undocumented. Well, if what does undocumented mean? Well, if they don't have documents, they're here illegally, but no, we don't want to call anyone illegal. No human is illegal. Oh, wait. That's a technical term from the government of their immigration status. But let's just keep calling them undocumented. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But you know what? They're going to get health care one way or another. You know what? But it's just, you know what? Guess what? That is just one of those things. It's like, hey, come to California for the free healthcare. I think there's California probably has the highest number of undocumented workers that of any state. But you know what? They're inviting more and more. I just don't get it. What shocks me most about this article is that California has a budget surplus. How could that be? But they don't seem to be fixing anything in California. I don't know. I'm going to find out. I'm going to be in California in about 4 or 5 days. And you know what? The thing is, I think I was listening to, who's the guy who writes Dilbert? Scott somebody. Anyway, he was talking on the other day, and he made a pretty good point. If you take all like the big problems in California, and say you have the floor plan of your house, and you grab a BB. This was his analogy. And you grab a BB and you put it on the floor. That's the problem in California. That's your chance of running into it. You're going to eventually see that BB on the floor, but it's not like you filled your whole floor with BBs, okay? So I know that for example, when we're driving through California, we're going to see a lot of beautiful things. We're going to go see, just off the wall things on the way. But you know what? I don't expect to see all the problems. Now, are we going to see stuff when we go through San Francisco or Los Angeles? Yes, we're going to see the homeless people and blah, blah, blah. But it's not, it's not everywhere. But still, I'm shocked that California has a budget surplus. California has major problems. So, but yeah, hey, illegal immigrants, free healthcare under 26 and under, come to California. Oh man. All right. Let's see. Am I going to do this one? Yeah. Oh yeah. No. So you've been following the Crowder, Carlos Maza thing. Well, now this Google CEO is getting into the mix. YouTube. According to the Google CCO, YouTube will begin targeting content which doesn't exactly violate policies. Oh, good for YouTube. That's great. A day after acknowledging that his videos did not violate its policies, YouTube decided to demonetize all of conservative comedian and commentator Steven Crowder's videos in response to a left-wing Vox employee complaining that Crowder repeatedly made fun of him because of his identity. On the same day, YouTube announced a mass ban on all content promoting one group as superior to another in order to justify discrimination, segregation, or exclusion based on qualities like age, gender, race, caste, religion, sexual orientation, or veteran status. Now, that's a weird way to put it. It's a really weird way to put it. They're a mass ban on all content promoting one group as superior to another? Huh. Now that's interesting because now this says all content promoting one group as superior to another. Have you ever watched, now maybe you may have or may have not. Let's take an example. Now I haven't seen Godzi Kodo on the channel for a long time. Maybe he's gone, who knows? But didn't he specifically promote one group as superior to another? There's a lot of channels like that. Now, so I'm curious how that's an interesting way to put it. That can backfire because I'm just gonna say it could backfire. It really could. In an interview with Axios, published Sunday, but filmed before YouTube's unveiling of its new policy, Google CEO Sundar Pichai signaled YouTube's crackdown and its plans to expand the ban to include borderline content. Wow, that's subjective. Cynthia G. Yeah, Cynthia G especially. Does she even have a channel anymore? I haven't heard anything about her. I'm gonna look up Cynthia G over my vacation, just when I have a moment. Look, we aren't quite where we want to be, Pichai told Axios on HBO. While YouTube is improving on eliminating content it deems problematic is an opinion, Pichai, Sundar Pichai. That's an opinion. One person's problematic is one person's comedy, is one person's theater, is one person's gospel. Who decides what's problematic? And they are still working toward even more extensive content controlling measures. So Sundar Pichai is telling us that YouTube's about to become a publisher. And when they become a publisher, I'm just waiting for the lawsuits. I mean, if they are going to determine content this way, and I don't care if it's problematic, you're just now deciding what will be published on your platform based on content, which makes you a publisher. You are not. That's very fascinating. Google said Pichai ranks its content based on quality. They plan to apply that same approach to YouTube. Google ranks its content based on quality. I thought you just searched for crap and it gave you what you search for. What if you're searching for crap? Will it give you quality crap? Oh, they plan to apply that same approach to YouTube, and so we are bringing that same notion and approach to YouTube so that we can rank higher quality stuff better and really prevent borderline content, he said. Again, whose decision is it whether or not content is, quote, borderline, end quote? Pichai then offered a definition. Oh, here he goes. He offered a definition of what he means by borderline content. Content which doesn't exactly violate policies, which need to be removed, but which can still cause harm. Can still cause harm. You know what, Pichai? I think listening to Riley Dennis causes harm, because Riley is just on the borderline of facts and fiction. Are we going to remove that? I think it causes harm. It causes harm to society. His content, or excuse me, her content. I don't want to get caught misgendering Riley, just out of whatever. Her content causes harm, in my opinion. Are you going to remove it because I think it causes harm? Oh, wait. I don't get to be the arbiter of what causes harm. The issue is a hard computer science problem, said Pichai, but an even harder societal problem, because we need better frameworks around what is hate speech, what's not, and how do we as a company make those decisions at scale and get it right without making mistakes. You can't. You shouldn't even try, okay? If someone's doing, you know what? I got an idea. Let's use First Amendment principles. Okay, if it's legal and not generating violence, like actual calls to violence or things like that, then remove it. But you can't decide for the entire world what is harm. You know what? I bet you there's a lot of Muslims around the world that would watch some of these channels that are devoted to transgender issues or makeup for men issues. You know, even the makeup channels. I'm sure there's a large Muslim community that thinks that causes harm, that disagrees with that. Are you gonna restrict those channels because a certain religious sect that you are very supportive of disapproves of that? Are you kidding me? Who decides harm? As the Daily Wire reported, amid the Crowder controversy last week, YouTube announced sweeping changes to how it handles content. Quote, YouTube always had rules of the road, including long-standing policy against hate speech. Hate speech. Again, who determines hate speech? Who determines hate speech? You know, there's some left channels I like a lot that I don't agree with, but I like the channels. But sometimes they say some very, very hateful things. Can we consider that hate speech? Today we are taking another step in our hate speech policy by specifically prohibiting videos alleging that a group is superior in order to justify. Where are all these stations? That a group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation, and exclusion based on qualities like age, gender, race, caste, religion, sexual orientation, or veteran status. Will that include Harvard University, who believes that they should, dock people because of their Asian descent? That justifies discrimination? Really? They allege that one group has more value than another, and they justify discrimination. See how we can play this game? We will begin enforcing this updated policy today. However, it will take time for our systems to fully ramp up, and we will gradually be expanding coverage over the next several months. This is you know what this is? This is a dog whistle. How a lot of people like to talk about dog whistles. This is a dog whistle for the Carlos Mazas of the world to run around and start flagging content. That's what it is. It's a dog whistle. Oh, we're gonna enforce this updated policy, but we need some time to make sure we can do this. Oh well, but you can certainly report what you think is in bad taste or causes harm. Earlier this year, YouTube said it was going to crack down on channels that repeatedly brush up against our hate speech policies by barring them from working with the YouTube partner ad program. Yeah, and you know what? I'd probably never be accused of hate speech because, you know how I am. I'm pretty tame when it comes to ad hominem stuff. But I'm still not gonna. I'm never gonna try to be a part of the YouTube partner program. I'll just rely on viewers. If viewers want to throw a tip in the tip jar, Streamlabs link down below. You can do that, and I'll be content with that. I don't think I'm ever going to make YouTube a career. Maybe it'll pay my cable bill once in a while, or my internet bill. So there you go. Yes, check your logic. Dawg Knight is hateful. There you go. The announcement came the same day that YouTube told Crowder that it had decided to demonetize all of his videos of his popular channel. A decision that came less than 24 hours after the company admitted his videos don't violate our policies. Well, yeah. We'll demonetize you even though you don't violate our policies. We'll restrict your ability to we won't recommend your channel even if you don't violate our policies. Some people like that. Some people like that. I think there's a few people out there who enjoy Steven Crowder's work. By the way, have you heard he's up over 200,000 subs since this happened? Or not subs. Well, I think 200. He's almost at 4 million now. He was at like 3.6 million before this started. He's almost at 4 million subs now. Oh, the Streisand effect. Ever hear of that? Thank you, Chicago Mike. $10 donation. Thank you, P-Dog, for the commute. Again, have a great vacation. Thank you, sir. And you have a great day at work. I know that you were on your way to work. You listened on the road. Hey, tell your friends. Listen to this on the road. I listen to YouTube when I'm driving all the time. All right, moving on. Thank you for the $10 super chats from Chicago Mike. They continue. Even if a creator's content doesn't violate our community guidelines. Wait a minute. Okay. It doesn't violate your community guidelines. Period. That should be the end of the sentence. That should determine what you do with the videos. Even if the creator's content doesn't violate our community guidelines, we will take a look at the broader context and impact, and if their behavior is egregious and harms the broader community. Hey, you know what? Crowder's channel didn't harm the broader community. The broader community doesn't have to even watch Crowder. Okay? Now, did it harm Carlos Maza's ego? Yeah, they messed with his ego big time because, the videos that Crowder made, yes, he made some very tasteless comments joking about Carlos Maza. But they were in the context of tearing Carlos Maza's arguments on his Vox channel to pieces. With ideas. It was all about ideas of Carlos Maza. And he doesn't like being told he's wrong. And the kicker was Crowder used language that, again, tasteless, offensive jokes. Okay, peppered in with that. And what does Carlos Maza say in his first couple tweets when this started? He attacked me because I'm gay and Hispanic. No, he didn't. None of those videos featured or dwelled on the fact that he was gay and Hispanic. The videos, yes, he made fun of him. He made a joke here and there, but they weren't focused on his identity. They were focused on his terrible ideas that Crowder disagreed with. In the case of Crowder's channel, a thorough review over the weekend found that individually the flag videos did not violate our community guidelines. However, in the subsequent days, of constant tweeting over about is going on 9 days now, and every media outlet picking it up because Carlo Mazza is a former Media Matters fellow who used to do this for a living, trying to get conservatives deplatformed. However, in the subsequent days, we saw the widespread harm to the YouTube community. Yeah, because Crybully spread it across the internet as much as he could, nonstop for 8 days, until everybody was listening because they all agree with him. I bet you the New York Times hadn't even heard of Steven Crowder before this happened. I bet you, whatever. Widespread harm to the YouTube community resulting from the ongoing pattern of egregious behavior. Really? How did that affect the community? How did YouTube has millions of channels, 400,000 hours uploaded every minute or something like that, some crazy number. How did it affect the overall community? They took a deeper look and made the decision to suspend monetization. In order to be considered for reinstatement, all relevant issues with the channel need to be addressed, including any videos that violate our policies. Whoa, hold up, wait a minute, including any videos that violate our policies. Up here it says, what? The flagged videos did not violate our community guidelines. So apparently there are no videos that violate their policies because the videos did not violate our community guidelines, but down here, including videos that violate our policies. Well, what? As well as things like offensive merchandise. Offensive merchandise. Huh. So now you can't have any offensive merchandise. I wonder if there are any videos of drag kids promoting drag kids on YouTube. Are those videos considered offensive? To some they are, some don't care. And you know what? Some people are like, okay, that's just some play acting by a little kid. Some people find that offensive. Who decides? Who decides? Man, this is a longer rant. I didn't expect to spend so much time on this one, but good God. Who decides what's offensive? Who decides? And if it doesn't violate our community guidelines, we will take a look at the broader context and impact, and if the behavior is egregious and harms the broader community. How does the video harm the broader community? It's just doublespeak. It's you know what? We're going to decide who deserves to be heard and who doesn't based on whether or not we agree with how they present themselves on the internet. YouTube's a publisher now. I'm waiting for the the Covington Catholic, I can't remember the attorney's name, but now YouTube is a publisher. And so they've sued CNN, they've sued a couple different outfits, but I think it's time for them to sue YouTube and Facebook too. Facebook's a publisher now. Facebook is no longer a open platform, social platform. So hey, I think it's time to test the waters on that Rule 360 or whatever that rule is. So fascinating. All right, let's see. Am I going to do this one? Nah, I'm going to skip that one. All right, let's go ahead and get into Twitter trends because I've been babbling along just long enough. Thank you, by the way, to Angel Tibbs and let's see who else, and Necro, and those who retweeting the link out to the show. Thank you. I appreciate you greatly. And good morning, Angel. I see you in the chat. Good morning, Ben Tahoe. Thoughts with the Dryer I said hello to. So I think I've got everybody so far. If I missed you, put a hi in the chat, because I haven't. Right now I have a small enough chat. As I grow, I may not be able to, but I'm trying to make sure I at least say good morning to everybody. Angels writes, it becomes clear to me that Dems want to talk about solving the problems, but haven't for anyone to actually do anything about the problems. Oh yeah, that's I think you were talking about California there. Let's see. Yes, Dawg Knight. Oh, I already said this. Dawg Knight is hateful. You were kidding. You were only kidding. Check your logic. Really? I thought I was a hateful person. I thought I was terrible. I thought I was one of those rotten people that everybody thinks is hateful. All right, let's get into Twitter trends, and we're going to get out of here because I got to pack. I got a flight to catch. All right. Number one trending, obviously, on Tuesday thoughts as opposed to Tuesday thoughts. That joke will never get old. The top one here. Tuesday thoughts from Miss Pinky Thoughts. Hillary Clinton, I keep hot sauce in my purse. Kamala Harris, I twerk to Cardi B. Mayor Pete, I drink 40-ounce beers with black people. Media, Republicans are racist. Orange man bad. Yeah, did y'all see this? Mayor Pete drinking a 40 with the brothers in a paper bag even. Oh my God, it's just some pandering nonsense. My God. In the interview when Kamala Harris, someone was asking her about her favorite music, and she like deer in the headlights. I like reggae and hip hop and R&B. What are your favorite songs? Bob Marley for sure. Bob, I guarantee you, even though Kamala Harris is of Jamaican descent, I guarantee you she's never listened to Bob Marley in her life. And it's funny because the host was Camerata or somebody from, it was CNN doing the interview, and the interviewer was like spitting out Cardi B lyrics, and Kamala Harris was like, just had that face like, I have no idea what you just said. But hey, Madam Secretary Hot Sauce. I love this. Hot sauce in my purse. I twerk to Cardi B. I drink 40s with the brothers. Mayor Pete. Oh, that's just embarrassing. Good God. He got a 40 of malt liquor. Good gosh. Number two on the second one. Donald Trump has a Tuesday thought today. It happened again. Every time I stop... this is the parody account. It happened again. Every time I stop catfishing and reveal that I'm really President Donald Trump on Tinder, I get blocked. Totally not fair. Tuesday thoughts, unwritten Tinder rules. That is actually a funny parody account of Donald Trump, even though it's basically an anti-Trump account, but it is a funny account. Donnie Wahlberg, the term mind your own business is often considered rude and insulting. In truth, it's sound advice. Nothing will help us more than staying in our own lane, dealing with our own shit, examining our own issues, and working on our own growth, or lack thereof. Tuesday thoughts. You know what? That's not bad from Donnie Wahlberg, but make sure you pay attention to what's going on around you. Oh, yeah, this is a good one too. Uber won't work, said the taxi drivers. Airbnb won't work, said the hotel people. Netflix won't work, said the cable TV people. Email won't work, said the post office. Blockchain won't work, said the banks. Internet won't work, said the newspapers. Tuesday thoughts. Hey, yes, sometimes the progress is, I know, progress is, if it's progress or not, it helps. I think these kind of things give people the ability to have more control over what they do, see, buy, wear, live, go to. And we're taking advantage of Airbnb on our trip a couple different times, and it's been great. I mean, we've used it a lot on different vacations, and I really like it. And it gives the people an opportunity to do their own business. And I know that the big powers that be, the corporate giants, don't like it, and they fight it constantly. But hey, there you go. All right, let's see here. All right, moving on beyond Tuesday thoughts. Number 2, Nintendo Direct E3. Good morning. Let's get what we deserve today, ladies. There's, I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff about games and Nintendo. I'm not a big Nintendo guy, so I'm not going to get into this one, but that is trending today. Apparently they got some things coming out. Frozen 2 is coming out. That's trending also. I'm not going to play the trailer again. There's a new trailer for Frozen 2. Okay, so y'all can check that out. I've never seen the first Frozen. It was just beyond, probably came out after my kids were not into that stuff anymore. NZL Ned, what is this? Oh, is this about the World Cricket Tournament? I don't know. Oh no, the World Cup's World Women's Cup, but I don't know why that's trending. Oh, it's not New Zealand, Netherlands. Netherlands beat somebody and continue on in the World Cup. So the Netherlands women's soccer team is trending. All right, there you go. What's your thoughts on the new Smash DLC? Hey, stop making fun of me for being a non-Nintendo boomer-esque type of person, because I basically am. So there you go. Stop making fun of me. Stuart Scott. Why is Stuart Scott trending? Is this the anniversary of him passing away? 22 years ago today. Oh, Michael Jordan gave us the flu game, and Stuart Scott called it like only he can. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Is that why he's... Oh, yeah, he called the game. And this is the recap of the flu game. It's 4 minutes long. You might want to go watch that on your own. I'm not going to spend that much time on it. But June 11th, 1997, Michael J. Jordan had his flu game, and Stuart Scott did his thing. Here, let's just watch the beginning of it.
Hi again, thanks for letting us.
Oh, well, that ain't gonna work. All right, forget it. We're gonna skip it because I don't want to buffer anymore. All right, Radiohead is trending. They release hours of hacked mini discs to benefit what? Benefit Extinction Rebellion. Tom York describes hours of recordings from OK Computer sessions as not very interesting, while the climate activists thank the band for unprecedented support. So Radiohead is releasing some music, and I don't really care. All right. New Zealand's trending. First hydrogen power SUV poised for big... Oh, here we go. That's interesting. Is that why it's trending? Oh, that's who the Netherlands beat in the World Cup. That's why New Zealand's trending. Heartbreaking loss for New Zealand against the Netherlands. Okay, that's soccer. Let's move on. But this is interesting, though. Now the top article here is interesting, though. New Zealand's first hydrogen-powered SUV poised for big reveal on Fridays. This is something that everyone should be interested in, because hydrogen is an abundant fuel. And hopefully, let's see, getting used to electric vehicles, be prepared for another technological leap, with New Zealand welcoming its first zero-emission hydrogen-powered SUV. This is cool, I think. The all-new Hyundai Nexo will take its Kiwi bow on at field days at Mystery Creek near Hamilton tomorrow. Hyundai's second generation of commercialized fuel cell electric vehicles combines oxygen from surrounding air with hydrogen stored in onboard tanks to create electricity that powers the car. With fuel tanks, the Nexo can drive 660 kilometers before it needs to refuel, which takes just a few minutes. So that's huge. Huge. That the hydrogen vehicles are starting to make a play in the market. I mean, talk about a breakthrough that they've been trying to get into for a long time. Hydrogen fuel cells. So that's cool. Sam Donaldson's tweeting, we know why, or trending, we know why, because he's we already talked about that earlier. Botswana court. Now I wonder if this has anything to do with President Trump. Botswana has become the latest country to decriminalize gay sex in a landmark case for Africa. Activists cheered the High Court's unanimous decision. Interesting, because wasn't it recently that President Trump sent out his ambassadors with a worldwide effort to decriminalize homosexuality. And lo and behold, Botswana has overturned its colonial era law criminalizing consensual same-sex relations. Interesting. I wonder. I wonder. Now they're gonna. This is great. Celebrate that. I wonder if anyone's gonna get any credit for that. Don't hold your breath. I'm just saying. Do not hold your breath. So that's cool news. They're trending. It might trend even more. I wonder if President Trump will tweet about it. Mama Durant. I think that has something to do with Kevin Durant's mom. Mama Durant and Kevin Durant have the best mother-son relationship. They both love each other to pieces. And let's see. For all who question my son as a man, question his heart, question his integrity, and question his love for the game of basketball, you don't know him. He has a heart of a true warrior. This too shall pass. God bless you all. So she's defending her son over something. Social media has been trashing him after a game 5 injury. Come on, man. He's the man as far as basketball is concerned. I'm pretty sure if he got injured, he got injured. What are you going to do, man? Leave him alone. Thank you, Mama Durant. Jill Jude. I only got 15 minutes. Okay, Jill Jude. Okay, she scored for the Netherlands. That's why she's trending. Presidential harassment. Oh, I'm sure this is going to be a healthy trend today. So let's see. What did President Trump? He likes to Trump tweet about presidential harassment. Presidential harassment is what Trump did to Obama, not what Democrats are doing to Trump. Oh, interesting. That must be something that Adam Schiff said. Let's see. L.A. Times. Who wrote this? It doesn't say. Okay, so this is trending. To the editor. Oh, are these letters? Wow, this is. Oh yeah, this is the Reader Reacts section, and this is trending on Twitter. Fascinating. Okay. To the editor, I can see that House Democrats are pretty high on... Oh, that's the original one. President Trump thinks nothing of slamming congressional Democrats over their expanded investigations related to Russian interference in the 2016 election. But what about President Trump's own partisan probe of President Obama, insisting that Obama was not a natural-born U.S. citizen and therefore ineligible for the presidency? That's over. Anyway, the birther conspiracy was one of the most vicious, violent, contemptible lies, and Trump proudly touted it. Yet, worse yet, Trump had many questioning the authenticity of Obama's birth certificate and believing his fabricated story. It's the same old with Trump. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so... Anyway, that's trending. Yeah, I think Trump was wrong to do that back then. Okay, but that is that. And now we're talking about something else. This is, a lot of people like to talk about whataboutisms. Like, ladies and gentlemen, whataboutism. Okay, so that's trending. Let's see. Raise your hand if you're a whiny fat bitch. Oh man, they're not being nice. You're a disgrace to the office of president. I know this one's gonna be all hate Trump all the time. So you can check that one out too. Commander-in-Chief of Presidential Harassment is crying of presidential harassment. Yeah, I think the LA Times article letter spawned this. All right, cool. There we go. All right, presidential harassment is trending. Day the Music Burned. Oh, this is an article about the there was a big fire at Universal, and let's see, the fire that swept across the back lot of Universal Studios in Hollywood on Sunday, June 1st, 2008, began early that morning in New England. What? Okay, wait a minute. What? At 4:43 a.m., a security guard at the movie studio and theme park saw flames rising from a rooftop on the set known as New England Street, a stretch of quaint colonial-style buildings where small-town scenes were filmed for motion pictures and television shows. That night, maintenance workers had repaired, The roof of the building on the set, using blowtorches to heat asphalt shingles, they finished the job at 3 a.m. and, following protocol, kept watch over the site for another hour to ensure that the shingles had cooled, but the roof remained hot, and some 40 minutes after the workers left, one of the hot spots flared up. The fire moved quickly and engulfed the back lot of the famous New York City streetscape. It burned two sides of the courthouse square and set featured in Back to the Future, and it spread south to a cavernous shed housing the King Kong encounter, an animatronic attraction for the theme park visitors. Hundreds of firefighters responded, including Universal Studios on-site brigade, but the fire crews were hindered by low water pressure and damaged sprinkler systems, and by intense radiant heat gusting between the combustible structures. Eventually, the flames reached a 22,000 square foot warehouse that sat near the King Kong encounter. The warehouse was nondescript, a hulking edifice of corrugated metal, but was one of the most important buildings on the 400-acre lot. Its official name was Building 6197. To backlot workers, it was known as the Video Vault. Shortly after the fire broke out, a 50-year-old man named Randy Aronson was awakened by a ringing phone at his house in Canyon Country, California, about 30 miles north of Universal City. The unincorporated area of the San Fernando Valley, where the studio sits, Aronson had worked on Universal lot for 25 years. His title was Senior Director of Vault Operations at Universal Music Group, UMG. In practice, this meant he spent his days overseeing an archived house in the Video Vault. The term Video Vault was in fact a misnomer, or a partial misnomer. About 2/3 of the building was used to store videotapes and film reels, a library controlled by Universal Studios' parent company, NBC Universal. But Aronson's domain was a separate space, a fenced-off area of 24,000 square feet in the southwest corner of the building, lined with 18-foot-high storage shelves. It was a sound recordings library, the repository of some of the most historically significant material owned by UMG, the world's largest record company. I remember this. This was so anyway, this fire, they lost all these original recordings, all the, they lost thousands and thousands of just stuff that you can't replace. Original recordings, original studio sessions, original reels from some of the classic movies. It was bad. I'll just put this out. I'm not going to read this whole thing. It'd take too long, but I'm going to put it in the chat. If you're interested, you can check that one out yourself. All right, moving on. Last couple ones. Let's finish this off. Alias Sanchez. I don't know why. Okay, why is Alias Sanchez? Who is Alias Sanchez? Is that another? Let's see. The FBI is now investigating Elias Sanchez, who was Governor Rosello's campaign director. From Senate Majority Leader to the governor to town mayors, corruption seems to be widespread cancer in this fanatically bipartisan island government. I'm not sure where that is. Oh, in Puerto Rico. Okay. Elias Sanchez of Puerto Rico. And I can't read this. A lot of this is in Spanish. I'm trying to find... I'm not sure. Let's see. Former campaign director for Richard Rosello, Elias Sanchez, has been interrogated by the FBI as part of an alleged corruption probe. Wow, corruption in Puerto Rico? Who knew? Who knew? Savannah Guthrie, she's a journalist. Why is she trending? New moderators for the first Democratic primary debate on June 26th and 27th in Miami are Lester Holt, Chuck Todd, Jose Diaz-Valert, Savannah Guthrie, and Rachel Maddow. Okay. Yeah, all the Democratic primary debates are going to be I have no confidence in any of these guys. But anyway, there you go. Those will be the first debate moderators. Yippee. All right, finish out. Amash, the guy who called for Trump's resignation, has left the House Freedom Caucus. Elias Sanchez, we already said why Elias Sanchez are trending. Some stuff moving around. Wrath of the White Witch and Gulenov, detained Russian journalists Ivan Gulenov to be freed. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, that's it's behind a paywall. I ain't reading it. So that's it for today. Because P-Dog's got to pack. We got to go on vacation. Puerto Rico is clean and pure as the wind-driven snow. Yes, they are. Yes, every bit of aid that the mainland has sent to Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria has been distributed evenly out through the country, and everything is perfect. They've got everything done. The truckers have agreed to forego the contracts, and they decided to distribute everything, and everything's perfect there. Everything's perfect except for Orange Man Bad, because Orange Man's fault, because the stuff didn't get distributed that went to Puerto Rico. So there you go. Alrighty then. So that's it for the Morning Night Live today. I really appreciate you all being here. Thank you for those who threw out some super chat dollars or donations in the tip jar. And you know what? We're here every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT for people who use that GMT thing in other parts of the world. Also, if you're so inclined, please make sure before you go, hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the and if you're so inclined, again, the Streamlab links is not only for super chats, but any donations you might want to make, that's up to you. But again, I just do this for the fun of it, and I appreciate those of you who support me in many ways. So thank you. I appreciate you greatly. But hey, like I said, remember the programming note. Over the next 2 weeks, you may or may not see me live. I may throw up some stuff taped, and there'll be a couple days for sure that I'll be live, but it's going to be sporadic. So watch your notifications. Watch the Twitter handle at Dawg Knight. If you have ideas for the show, you can always send them to me via Twitter at the Dawg Knight through my DMs. My DMs are open. Or you can put that ad on the other side of the Dawg Knight, pdogknight@gmail.com, where I also take suggestions. And not, for example, whenever we do FTG Thursdays, I love nominations for FTG Thursday. DM those to me, and through either the Twitter DMs or through Gmail. So thank you everybody for being here. I gotta go. Get ready to get on a plane. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.